Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my friends. I am the Dark Librarian, and I am here to tell you tales of terror. No, that's not me. Here to help me this time is my friend Mr. Bones and the younger Bones Jr., as well as Mini Bones. Oh, they are here to help me tell the tales in this magazine right here. Vampiress Carmilla Fear Book. This is the annual for 2024. Now let's take a closer look. Oh yes, there's Vampiress Carmilla Fear Book. Bursting out of the tomb comes this freaky fear book edition, full of frightful fables of fantastic females from the fiendish files in Vampiress Carmilla's crypt. How's that for purple prose? Yes, Vampiress Carmilla is a magazine published by Warrant Publishing. And these magazines are in keeping with the old Warren horror magazines, including some of the original creators, those that are still around. And this is the yearbook annual for 2024, which represents several stories from the past year of their regular publications, and then shows here in miniature size. You can see 4 of the covers from those issues. 3 of the cover paintings were by San Julian, with 1 by Ken Kelly, and the main figure on the front is reproduced from a Ken Kelly painting from the very first issue of Vampiress Carmilla. And of course, we lost Ken Kelly just about a year ago. So these would have been some of his last works published. And Warrant Publishing, they started their horror magazines about three and a half or so years ago with The Creeps magazine, and that ran for about 2 years or so, and then they started Vampiress Carmilla, and shortly after that canceled The Creeps and followed that up with Shudder magazine. Basically the same, just a different host, different title, and different numbering system. And I wonder, I don't know for sure, I wonder if that might have been due to some potential legal action with a similarity in name. Might have been considered too close to the creepy title from Warren. And Vampiress Carmilla, of course, is inspired by our friend Vampirella right here. But the name Carmilla is interesting because there was a vampire story, a book called Carmilla, simply Carmilla, from 1872. I've forgotten the author's name, some French name. I couldn't pronounce it anyway. She predates Dracula by about 25 years. And here in this context, I think they said that she was one of Dracula's wives. You remember Dracula's wives. You've seen the Van Helsing movie? Or any of the old classic Dracula movies when the wives attacked Jonathan Harker from the novel. Okay. And these have a variety of creators. One of the editors, the main editor and writer, is Don Glut, who I've spoken about before many times. Of course, Don Glut did some writing for the old Warrant magazines, and as well as doing a lot of work at Gold Key in the 70s. Of course, creating best known for his creation of Dr. Spectre and doing his horror stories, as well as Dagar, the Invincible, what's his name? Trag and the Sky Gods, and all of these were in a shared universe, because some of the stuff from some of the individual horror stories would pop up in the main story of Dr. Spectre. Okay. And some of the other creators, most of the artists and writers are contemporaries, but just have had a few. Artist Richard Corbin did some work here for Warrant, for both Vampiress and Creeps and Shudder, and in fact, the last cover painting and comic work that he did in his life, because he passed away, but it was about maybe 3 years ago, I can't remember, was published by in these magazines by Warrant. And if you are unfamiliar with the Warrant horror magazines and are interested in them, I get mine at the Barnes & Noble bookstore in the magazine racks. It may be available at comic shops. I don't know. I've never seen them at the comic shops, at least around here. And of course, they are available through online and through the mail, because they have all kinds of back issue stuff. And I'll give you a close up here, and you can, if you want the information, you can contact them right there through that info right there. And just look up Warrant Publishing Online. That's WARRANT, Warrant Publishing Online, and you can also order online that way. And get subscriptions, back issues, etc. And they are a lot of fun, and they are often kind of tongue-in-cheek. So let's take a little look inside. But before we look inside those pages, I'll show you our little friends here. These are all drawings on comic character cards that I have done, and these all happen to be comic horror hosts. As you can see, there is Carmilla herself and Vampirella right next to her. And if you would like one of these, or me to do one of these for you, or any other characters, or maybe have some other artistic needs of this kind, you can contact me here at my email address shown on your screen. And okay, and here you can see the cover. And here you can see those covers. There's the Ken Kelly. Here's nice San Julian paintings on the others, and the lovely Carmilla herself. We'll just take a brief look in here. I'm not going to go deeply into into the stories. But I want to show you some of the artwork. This is art by Nick Palipko. I don't know, an art story by Don Glut. And this is a Carmilla story, in which she is head of like a circus or type troupe going through this town, but the town is being tormented by these raiders. So they go to the camp of the raiders, put on a show for them, a circus type show, and they all happen to look like, you know, witches and monsters and creeps and stuff. And then here, Carmilla turns into a werecat herself, and here they all go into town. And one of the things I like here is that because a lot of this art is based on still photographs from the old horror movies. Like here's the guy in the gorilla. Always loved that particular image, that gorilla. Here's Wolfman, Mummy, etc. And it's some nice artwork. And there's also has the creature from the Black Lagoon stuff. And here's another one, story by Lou Mogan and Santos Zabalos. I'm not sure if these artists are Spanish, Portuguese, or Italian, but they all do wonderful work. Another story. This one's got creatures in it again. It's kind of organized. Got a Black Lagoon type creature in there again. Some really nice artwork, and things are different. And see, even have ads for some of their other magazines, like Scary Monsters magazines and Monster Memories, and more Vampiress Carmilla. Here's again the lovely artwork. This is Reno Maniquis. I'm not sure if again a Don Glut story. Some beautiful artwork and kind of a creepy story. Costumes, sexy nurse. Here's one. This one art by Benito Gallego. Another Don Glut story. This Green Queen. And one of the things remarkable about this one, the art in this one, bears a very strong resemblance to the art of John Buscema. So I wonder if maybe whether he just learned and adopted the John Buscema's art style from copying his work, or may have had some instruction from the great Buscema himself. I wouldn't know. Here's a creature from Black Lagoon thing again, snatching the girl. Years later, that girl's daughter pops up trying to find where her mother disappeared. Yeah, stuff like that. And turns out she is the offspring of that dark-haired lady and the creature from the Black Lagoon, critter, and has two younger siblings. And Freaks of a Feather, story by Billy Grimm, art by Nick Palipko again, and again this features some really nice photo references, some good shots from circus and the freak shows, and did a lot of photo reference on these, which I think is great, because it is recognizable from some of the pictures we've seen from the older times. But this is a crooked circus owner mistreating the people, and he gets his comeuppance. Nice work. Yeah, here he gets his comeuppance. Turn him into one of the exhibits. Polecat, a werecat, and she is a pole dancer. That's when she turns into a cat. Turns out one of her patrons is a werewolf, and they go at it. cats and dogs. Blood Drive, another Don Glut story. Nodal Nora, and a nice one. This is a young lady who happens to look a lot like Vampiress Carmilla, but she's not. Hitching a ride, and they talk about some ghosty stories and stories that are out there that really supposedly happened. And then we see, it went the other way. He was the vampire and attacked her. And just more wonderful art and creepy and touching, that is funny bone, creepy and humorous stories. Some more beautiful artwork here. And that is Auntie Shudder, talking about her annual. And all these are stories that have appeared before in the magazine. Here you can get back issues of Shudder magazine, and if you take a look at that, and you can order your own if you want. And that is what I've got for you this time with the wonderful works from Vampiress Carmilla. Have you ever seen any of these magazines? Have you read some? Do you like vamps? I really enjoy these magazines and wish I had started getting them earlier. The first one I got was by mail order before I ever saw them in the bookstore. And I've been trying to collect them all ever since. It's a lot of fun reading, and it's very nostalgic for the days of Warrant magazines when I really couldn't afford to buy too many of them, just once in a great while. So please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about vamps, Shudder, creeps, and all the creepy tales herein. And remember, comics are art.